when I said that to her, I mean, I'm talking like she looked at me like with such disgust, like, man, I'm telling you, the fire of Satan was rising up in me.
Goodness.
And I'm about to tell this girl, like, from the high heavens, like, who do you think you like? And I'm about to go off on her. And man, I remember very clearly, man, the heat's rising up. But then from here, I hear the voice of the Lord say, he says, wait, you can help her.
Hey, you guys, welcome to The Invite. Today, I have a special guest with me, my husband, Chris. Welcome. So excited to have you.
Thank you for having me on The Invite. I didn't know guys were welcome on The Invite, but
I know.
I'm thankful to be here.
You're a special guest, so you're welcome.
Special guest. Huh?
Yes, very special.
All right. I'll take it.
Yes, definitely my best friend. So I was like, hey,
Yeah.
if I'm having a conversation with my friends, I have to bring my best friend to have this conversation with us. So, you guys, you're in for a treat today. We're going to be talking about
how we met.
Yes.
And how we met, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
So this is going to be exciting to share our sides because it's an interesting link.
Yeah.
So before we just kind of get into the how we met, I want to give you a little backstory. So I'll let you start us off and tell us, like, kind of before we met, what was your thoughts? Where were you in life? Just where were you at that time before we met?
It's interesting. So I have to kind of back up and give a little history on myself, because the history of me makes up this whole encounter and how, it even got to being a relationship and so on and so forth.
Yes.
I was born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s per se. And I was very influenced by music. Very influenced by music. I remember I was probably about 10 or 11 years old. I remember my sister was dating a guy at the time. He had this car. He had a Pontiac Le Mans, and he had like 210s or even 212s in the trunk. And I remember riding around bumping NWA and all that stuff getting into my head. I remember that stuff then. But there was an album in particular that really shaped my mindset about relationships, about women, really shaped my mindset. And it was in 1993, Snoop Dogg had his first release, and the title of the album was Doggy Style. And I remember there were concepts on there that I mean, it shaped my view of women, and it shaped my view of relationships big time, straight from there. So I say all that to say that so my mindset began to look at women as not being that valuable, and in particular, if the woman fit characteristics of a certain kind of woman, she had zero value in my mind. And it was all because of hip hop. Like, I had to blame hip hop. I wasn't raised like this, but hip hop taught me this. Anyways, fast forward to where now I done became a Christian. And I'm walking with the Lord, and He's guiding me step by step. I'm not listening to some of it, but some of it I am listening to. And I remember one day, I'm reading a word, and I go over the story of Hosea. I'm in the book of Hosea, and I ain't never read the book of Hosea up until this point. And I'm reading it, and I'm reading chapter 1 and chapter 2, and I'm like, what in the world is this? I'm like, Lord, why would you tell this man, your man, to go get with a woman like this? And then this dude goes back and redeems her, and he buys her back, and he wants her back. I'm like, this is crazy. And I remember very clearly. And I believe it was the Spirit of God speaking to me. And he said, if I wanted you to do this, would you do it? And I sat there and I thought about it. And I said, no, I wouldn't do it. That was my response. Okay. Like, I was because once again, it was because of how my mind had been shaped by culture.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, think about that in whatever context you're in, that how the mind can be shaped by culture. And when I'm saying culture, I'm not just simply talking about pop culture or the popular things in the media. What is the culture of your lifestyle, the people that you're around, the people that you're with, your friends, the conversations? What is the culture? Because your culture is helping to shape your mind, truly. Anyways, so yeah, I told the Lord, I said, nah, I ain't doing that one, bro. And we left it at that. And I went through a series of, our brother was trying to get married. All right. Now, mind you, our brother, now that I know what I know, I wasn't nowhere near ready to get married, but I wanted to get married. So I'm going, I'm talking to this woman over here. Now all of them are Christian. All right. They all were Christian, but if I'm just going to be 100, all of our activities were not aligned with the Bible. Yeah. All right. Let me just be straight, real. And I'm throwing myself under the bus too. But I'm really trying to find a wife, man. And long story short, man, I get to a point. This is the beginning of 2011. Beginning of 2011. I've been dating here and there, this and that and the other. And I get to a point to where I'm just like, man, I'm in my early 30s at this point. And I'm like, Lord, look, I don't have no prospects. I don't have nothing going on. Let me back up.
Yeah.
let me give this one story that happened in 2011. Excuse me. There was something that happened in 2011 that was like my breaking point where like I knew I needed a wife. So I'm going to the bank. I'm in the bank, and I'm depositing some money in the bank, and the banker that was helping me, I mean, as we would say, she was right. And I'm seeing her, and man, like, there was like this little maybe possible or something. And man, in my heart, I'm like, bro, I know that ain't even the direction to go in. But man, like, I wanted to holler at her so bad. And I didn't do it. Now she knows all this stuff, right? Now I didn't do it, but I remember, man, it caused me later on that week. I went and sat down with a spiritual mentor of mine, and I told him, I said, brother, I think you need to pray for me, because brother, if I need a wife, because if I don't get a wife, I don't think this is going good. And I just told him straight. I told him just like that. This is not gonna go good. And I remember what he said to me. He said, he leaned back in his chair and he kind of cracked a smile, and he said, he says, as a pastor, I know what my people need, and I know you need a wife. So he was in agreement with me that, brother, yeah, you need that. So that year I prayed and I said, okay, I'm like, Lord, look, I need somebody, I need something. And you say it's better to marry than to burn. Well, I need some help then. And I need somebody, I need a wife. And I'm like, look, it can be somebody I already know. I go back in the past. I don't care what it is. I need a wife, and I need a wife by this year. But then I said, but look, man, but if you're not going to give me a wife by this year, I was like, man, look, bro, I'm just going to quit, man. I'm just going to give up, man. I ain't even going to think about it. And that was in 2011. And yeah, that was a pivotal year. Yes. But now you give your context to all that as well.
Yes, my context to us meeting is, I'll say a year before meeting you, or I could go back even more. Let me go back even before a year.
Give a little context.
Give a little context. Yes, let me give a context.
Now you ain't got to give all the details.
I know.
You can give a little context for the folks.
I just had to kind of think about it. That was that thought. Yeah. So prior to the year of meeting the Lord, so let me go back to how my life was prior to my encounter with God. I'll say I had a crazy, what would you say? Crazy.
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy past
Yeah.
life. And yeah, there's some things I totally regret. Had some
Mm-hmm.
things like circumstances happened, and
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, my life was not doing well at all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like choices and friendship choices of men, it was just not good. I was living life with no care, had no care in the world, had no like value for myself. I lived just wild.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I kind of think I shared a little bit about like how God kind of encountered me where I just had like an experience with him
Mm-hmm.
and met God through like a nightly meeting and stuff. But prior to that, even like have no desire really to see God. I was living very reckless, like I was saying, and in and out of relationships, if you even want to call them relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so
Situationships,
situationships, yeah,
hookups,
yes,
I
all
mean,
of
yeah.
the above. So life was just
And
crazy.
mind you, both of us guilty of that. But go ahead.
Yes, yes, life was just crazy. Had no direction, had no focus in life, and um, when when the Lord arrested my attention, because I really wasn't seeking Him, it was just like it really like changed my from one day I was not interested to the next day I was very interested, and I was in a relationship at the time, and the relationship was fine. Like I really was comfortable. This is like my first time ever settling down with someone would say, because settling down was not a part of my life. But yes, so this one, like I'm in this relationship. I got an encounter with God, and I'm like, okay. And we both start seeking God together. Instead of doing other things, meeting up, we actually start listening to sermons, reading the Bible, just like trying to get into some spiritual awakening that I had. And when I called that individual, he heard like the change that night, and he's like, I want you to be that. Like, I want that for you. So we both were on a quest for that. So it was some time, like about some months, not a year, of us, still dealing and doing, just like seeking God in some kind of way, changing our diet, doing just trying to seek the Lord. And I remember, I think God was like appealing my heart, trying to tell me like I need to let go of this relationship, but I would not. I did not want to at all. Like 0% did I want to.
Oh
I had
man,
no
I got that
desire.
experience too. But go ahead.
I didn't want to let go, so I was not doing it because I was just like, I love in my mind. So weeks and months went by, and then I just would not let go of the relationship. I just still want to hold on, and the Lord, um I believe the Lord visit him in a dream and kind of just told him that he needs to work up with me. And because I was not going to do it. And the fear of God came in him, and he was like, we have to end this relationship. So he ended and he left town. I didn't speak to him for like years after, a year or so after. He just left. And I was like, that was the best thing for me because I would not have ended that relationship.
Now I want y'all to
Okay,
dwell on
go.
that.
Yeah,
I
go
want y'all to
ahead.
hear that now. That the girl says that she was in a relationship with a brother, and this brother was not as a believer as she
No, he was
was,
not.
but for her to do the will of God, which she was already feeling like she was supposed to do,
Yes.
that the Lord had to visit this brother in a dream, the
Yes.
one that ain't the real believer.
Yeah.
He had to visit him in a dream so that he could be the
And
voice of
yes,
reason and the
because
voice of destiny,
yes.
and to help to put her where the direction she needed to
I
go.
know, because I did not want to go in that direction. So yeah, so we broke up. We cool. Like I was fine, and at that time I was like, I don't want no relationship. I'm done with men, done with everything. I was just so done. I did not want a relationship after that. I was like, God, it's just me and you, because I don't want anybody. I can't even think of anyone ever like a relationship. It was not in my mind. So this year of me just being with the Lord, seeking Him in my just trying to walk with Him in some way, I had no desire for a relationship, for men, nothing. I
Mhm.
was done. So, at this time, a group of believers that I, you know, fellowshipped with, we had a camp meeting that was coming up every year, and they were like talking about this camp meeting. We need to go. So I was like, okay, I'll go. That's fine. Let's go to the camp meeting. My mom is going. The first time she's going
Mhm.
to, so I'm like, let's go. And my friends are going. And then individual reached out to me and invited me to their camp meeting. And it's the same week, the same the same time. And I'm like, what? That's so crazy. I wish I could go to both. So I'm like, Lord, which way should I go? And I prayed, I really prayed a sincere prayer. I was like, Lord, if you want me to go to this other camp meeting that just came up, you would have to provide the funds, because I know I know if I go to this camp meeting that with my parent, with my mom and friends and stuff, my mom is paying for it. That's nothing. That's easy. Of course, I'm going that way. But if you want me to go, you're gonna have to provide the funds outside of my parents or anyone. Like you have to just
Mm.
provide it. So that was my prayer. And it's only about a couple weeks, less than a month. I gotta go to this thing. So ticket, everything gotta be provided. Without me, like I don't have no money for this. So I prayed, and then I made my request known to like a one or two people. Like I'm thinking about going to another camp meeting, but I'm not sure, and I left it like that. Anyway, someone paid a friend um heard that I was wanted to go, and they were like, they saw my change and they thought I was like, wow, you really want to go somewhere, let me pay for your ticket. So paid a first class ticket and gave me some money for it. And I was like, okay, that's good. Now I need the money to actually for the camp meeting and extra funds. And I was thinking like, oh, range around like at least $200 for the camp meeting and that stuff. Then I went, and another older gentleman, he wrote me a check for the exact amount that I needed for the other finances to go. I was like, okay, Lord, you say where I'm going. I'm going by myself. No one I know really there. I'm gonna just go. Everyone else going somewhere else. And then so I was solidified. I'm going that direction. And then the Lord so like I was like, I'm gonna meet my husband there. And I was like, no way. I don't want to meet no husband. No, 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 no. So I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna meet my husband. But I already paid for the ticket. I'm going. So if I knew that before, I don't think I'll go because I was not interested. But
Yeah.
I was like, hey, so I kind of was interested a little bit. Like it was a week long camp meeting, and the week is going by, and I'm meeting people, and I'm like, is it him? Is it him? I was like, oh no, it's no one. Oh, thank God. The last day or so.
And now, before
But
we get
yeah, we
into
before
that,
yeah.
let me interject
I
something.
went
I got to
fast.
interject. Something came to my mind. So
Yes.
another issue that I had is that I remember I was attending a Christian university, and I'm at this Christian university, and I'm trying to find me a wife, and I remember I said this, I asked the Lord a question. I said, Lord, like, show me somebody that's that would be like somebody that you would approve of, and I remember that I prayed that prayer, and I'm out and about, I'm in the library, and I come across this young lady, and it was like clear as day. The Lord was like, I approve of her. And now, but I had a problem with who he approved of. And the reason why I had a problem with who he approved of, it was because she did not look like what I wanted her to look like. Like that was not to my physical taste. And I was like, bro, like, is this how this thing gonna go? Like I got to go like this direction to find a good woman. And even though I was in my mid 20s at that time, I still had a lot of growing up to do. And I was like, nah, bro. I did not trust God with giving me a woman after that because I didn't think he would give me everything that I was interested in. All right. So I did not trust him. I was like, I did not trust him. Anyways, so now fast forward a few years after this. This is now back to the 2011 I was just talking about previously. Same year, everything she's talking about, same year.
Yeah.
All right. So fast forward to a friend of mine. He tells me about this camp meeting, this meeting that ultimately she was already at. I had another brother that asked me about it a year before, but I was like, nah, I wasn't interested. Well, anyways, another brother came to me. I was like, hey man, you want to go down to Georgia and you want to go to this meeting? And I was like, sure, why not? Now, mind you, I didn't go there with the thought I'm trying to holler at nobody. I did not go like that. I just go into the meeting. It was a Present Truth meeting, and I wanted to go to a Present Truth meeting. All right, that's just what it was. So, anyways, so now coinciding with her, this is why I'm interjecting
Good. That's fine.
Because she had been at this meeting all week, and you say she was like, there was no one that was there.
No.
Well, my friend, he just wanted to go on Sabbath anyways. That's the only day we were going, just on the Sabbath, and we was gonna go and was gonna go back, come back to Huntsville
Yeah.
that day, or yeah, that I think. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I think we was gonna leave the next day
The next day?
because he was from Georgia. We had
Oh,
and
yeah.
he had peoples there. Anyway, so yeah, we did not go to the meeting until Sabbath,
Yeah.
which was
The last
the last day of the meeting. I mean,
Yeah.
they have always
Yeah,
like a
the
morning thing
Sunday.
on Sunday,
Yeah.
like a depart thing, but
Yeah.
really the last day of the meetings
Yeah.
was on Sabbath.
Yeah.
So she had been there the whole week, and whatever prospect, and she was like, nah. Like, to all the other
It
prospects.
wasn't really me. I was waiting for God to say, like, this is him. And it was not crickets.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, thank God we're past this time. I didn't think about this is the first time being in a meeting. I didn't think about, oh, Sabbath, people are gonna come. I was like, praise God. Ooh, don't see him. I'm happy.
Yeah. So me and my friend, we slide into the meeting.
Yeah.
Very early. We got there pretty early because I think they were still doing like Sabbath school portion type of thing, type of deal. So we caught all that. So we got there, and so we were there, and so I'm sitting like kind of like in the middle, not full back, but kind of like middle-ish back almost. And I see her and three other young ladies that were sitting in the front. And now two of them are bona fide Spanish. And so when I see her with these two, I'm thinking she's some type of Spanish girl, like oh maybe, but she had braids, so I was kind of like, what is going on here, bro? Like she got these little braids, but is she like Dominican or something, bro? Like I don't know. But anyways, I see her, but I didn't think nothing of it. But then she got up to walk down. She was going to the bathroom or something. She got up, and I remember when she was walking down the aisle, I was like, man, I was like, Lord, that's all. I mean, that's all I'm asking for. Like this is my conversation in my head. I'm like, God, this is all I'm asking for. I ain't looking for like she would somebody like her would suffice. I'd be okay with somebody like her. And that was the thought that ran through my mind. I know she don't like that, but I say it like that. I mean, but I mean,
I like them.
Yeah,
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Well,
I don't mind.
But I mean, but the point is that she caught my eye. She did catch my eye, and I felt like I had humbled myself already.
Humble yourself, right? Okay.
All right. No,
you
no,
get
no.
okay. I get
all right. Maybe let me just move on past
Okay.
this. All right. But when I laid eyes on her, I said, you know what? Like somebody like her, I can rock with. I'm good, Lord. But I wasn't saying I wanted her or anything. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm telling God, like, look, someone in her category, man, your boy be all right.
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Somebody in her category. And yeah.
I didn't even see you. I didn't see him at all that time.
Yeah, no. You didn't see me. You saw me later.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So I was serving food, like, I think I was serving the beans, whatever, like the potluck line. So I'm serving, and he comes in through the door, and like I'm facing the door, so I'm all the way at the end. He's coming through, and I saw him with his friend, but I didn't even see his friend. I think he just came in kind of by yourself, and then he may be behind you, because I think I just saw you. And when I saw you, it was like, that's him. And I was like, thank you.
No. Make that plain.
What?
You said it was like no.
Oh, sorry. I didn't make a little plain.
Yeah.
The Lord in my mind just talked to me and be like, "That's him," and I was like, "Thank you, Lord." Okay, you have.
Now, why did you say thank you, Lord?
Let me tell you.
I'm interested.
I forget that part. I forget that part. Okay, so to back up, in no kind of hate or anything, the guy I was with, and just like in general, I didn't want guys who were slim, but the guy I was with, I actually like got to a point where I didn't like him physically at all, but he was so kind and nice. But I was kind of like with you, like, oh, that's what I gotta be with, like, to be a good guy. That he has to be like what I don't like. Mm-hmm. So he's so good, like he's a nice guy, but he's not what I want. So I was still battling with that. But then because of his goodness, it like made me look past, like things I don't really like about. And I was like, maybe I have to be with someone that I don't like physically, and I'll look past it in the future because I could see past it. But So I thought God was going to give me someone that I didn't really like, but I'll look past it because they're good and kind and nice and sweet. So I'll look past the physical appearance. Like I didn't think, okay. So when I saw someone that built, I like a bigger, taller, somebody taller than me, but just bigger, like a little more. That's my personal preference. So seeing him come out and I'm like, oh, he is bigger and taller and and I like black men. So so that was like that
and that's
thing.
what made her say, "Thank you, Lord."
Yes. Okay. Yes. I was like, thank you, Lord, because that is what I like. I mean, exactly. I just want bigger, taller, and black. That's it. Like that will make me very happy.
Oh, and she liked chocolate.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Black men.
Yeah, she liked chocolate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I thought I had to settle for someone that's not what I want. So when I saw you, that's why I was like, okay, Lord, thank you. At least it's somebody I actually want to see because I just said, oh, it had to be what I just didn't want. So that's why I said, thank you, Lord. Now you can tell your side of the story, and I tell my story. I'll finish
No,
it.
I mean,
Oh yeah, my side, yeah,
because it goes into
yeah.
you
Okay,
throwing the beans on my plate.
Okay, we're gonna get there. So I see him come in. Cool. I was like, okay. So I'm serving the food, but his friend came in before, like was in the line before, and his friend is a playful guy.
Yeah.
So he's I don't know, he's just playful. So he came in before, and he tells me my friend want to talk to you or he likes you or whatever. And me coming from the Caribbean, and if any of you guys know how we Caribbean people, we do not like a guy send your friend to talk to them and like that's like weak. Like that's like you young. Like you just how
Yeah,
you say?
you a soft dude.
Yeah, so you can't
you ain't
approach a
no
woman
real
yourself.
man.
Yeah, you can't approach someone yourself. Sending your friend say you like them and you want them to talk. I think that was ridiculous. So I was like, that's the kind of guy. No way. So I thought, he looked like but he's not the personality. I don't want him. Forget it. Get away. I want none
Now,
to do.
mind you, my friend did that all on his accord.
Yes, he was joking.
Yeah.
He was just.
Now I don't know none of this at the time.
Of course
and
not.
she don't realize that the dude
Yes.
did this on his own.
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
That's how he would laugh too.
Yeah, that's how he would laugh.
So definitely I thought like, no way could this be the guy, because I'm having this backdrop in my mind like this is the guy, and then he coming like that. I want him far away from me. So me being still immature as I was, still just fresh in this relationship with the Lord, didn't convert my emotions and attitudes and personality.
She was present truth. That's why.
Okay. Yeah,
anyways, man.
That plus
present truth don't convert all of you. But go ahead.
It did not. But so I was very rude. I was like, nah, you ain't gonna talk to me. So he's like, I'm smiling with his friend, giving him his beans, and now he comes and he's like, hi. Right?
I come with a nice smile. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be nice. We're trying to be a Christian. We eating haystacks, so we in the line. She putting the beans on the chips or whatever, and I come and I'm like, hi, and I put and the girl looked at me with a stone face like this. I mean, that's how she did. I mean, she just looked at me, stone face, took the beans and just kind of like plopped it on my plate and looked at me like, and I was like, man, what did I do to this girl? Like, what did I do?
I know.
But I didn't think too much of it, but I'm like, okay, that was rude.
I know. It was very rude. I was very rude. I was like, please stay away, get away. Know that I'm not interested. Because like, if I didn't have the level of knew that I was supposed to have some interest in you, and he said, I'll be like, whatever, I don't care. But I'm thinking, oh man, like this is supposed to be my person. No. So I'll let my mind while I'm doing this. So it just affected everything. So I was mean to him, rude. So I'm walking with my plate over, and then this lady just like, come on over here. These some single men. Come on and sit. And I was like, okay, sure. So the only like available seat was next to you and the young man on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat there, and you proceeded to talk to me.
No, not
really, right?
Because the woman was doing a lot. She was talking to me and Eric a lot.
Oh yeah.
She was talking to us and asking me questions and especially after I told her that I was in school, for pastoral ministry.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about that and so on and so forth. And so I wasn't really interacting with her at all. But no. This is what happened. No. It came. I'm telling you the details a little bit wrong. This is what happened because this what gets to how we actually started to interact.
Yeah.
So when she sits down, that's like when she sits down. That's when the lady goes into what asking what we're doing, where where we're from, and I tell her that I'm in school.
Yeah.
For pastoral ministry, and then I tell her what school I go to. And then when and then I said that, and then I think my wife heard no. I'm messing this whole thing. We telling this on the fly.
13 years ago. Don't worry.
No. Okay. I was right the first time. Bump what I just said.
14 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 14 years ago. So yes.
I was right the first time. Me and the lady had already had this discussion.
Yeah, I knew what you did.
Now she sits down.
Yeah.
And we do end up engaging in a little small conversation. And I tell her that I'm in school to do pastoral ministry at a certain school. And when I said that to her,
yeah, I know that was how it was.
When I said that to her, man, why don't you imitate what you did? When I said that to her, I mean, I'm talking like she looked at me like with such disgust, like I mean, breathed out, rolled her eyes, turned her head. I just
did what I was
in absolute disgust because of where I attended school at that time. She was in disgust because of where I attended school. Yeah. And I remember when she did that. Now, mind you, she'd already was rude to me with throwing the beans on my I'm exaggerating. Maybe not throwing it on my plate. But still, she was not kind in the line, in the haystack line. Then we get to this point, and she just outright, I mean, rolls her eyes, sucks her teeth, turns her head, and looks with disgust when I said that. Man, I'm telling you, the fire of Satan was rising up in me. Goodness. And I'm about to tell this girl, like, from the high heavens, like, who do you think you got? And I'm about to go off on her. And man, I remember very clearly, man. And I know this was the Lord because of what happened afterward. Because the heat is rising like this. So it's rising up and it's about to come out of my mouth. The heat's rising up. But then from here, I hear the voice of the Lord say, he says, wait, you can help her. And then the moment he said that, then the heat that was rising up, it stopped. And then peace has begun to flow right through. And I was like, all right. I even cracked a smile, man. Because of the peace, when you experience the peace of God, like the peace came. Yeah. And I was just like, all right. And I was cool. I held my peace. And then it was right after that, her whole spirit changed.
Yeah. Because in my mind, it was like, oh, why am I doing this? Let me stop being so extra. Like, I know I'm trying to push this guy away. But internally, I was kind of feeling him because two things happened. One, I saw him and I was like, I was interested. And then when the lady said, because this is what happened, she said, you can talk to any one of these guys, but not him. He's going to school to be a pastor. And in my mind, I was like, but that's the one I want. And I was like, no, I don't want him. So I'm fighting. Like, I like you, but like how you look and stuff. I like how you look. I want to get to know you, but I don't want to because you're a personality. Like, I don't like guys like this. So I'm fighting with that. So I'm like, they run away, or maybe I should consider it. So this is kind of like the battle I'm having. But then I was like, you know what? Let me just stop and just talk to this guy. Like, so that was like kind of when I said that, I was like, okay, I'm going. That's enough. Like, I need to just bring it down and just be regular. So that's what kind of was in my heart when I said that. I knew it was a little too much, but I didn't care really. But then I did care. It was a battle in my brain too. So then I just was chill.
Yeah, I mean, after that, her whole spirit changed. Yeah, and I was like, now I didn't know what all that meant. How about you could help? I had no, bro. I didn't even know what that meant. I'm just thinking like, all right. And the one thing I will say is this: is that even at that time, I knew that when it came to the Bible and when it came to the circles that we both were in at that time, I was already seeing that, man, like there were some deficiencies in what was being emphasized.
Yes.
And and in what the Bible said Bible salvation was. And the emphasis was not on Bible salvation often. It was just on some other things. And the thing is that though I didn't have the full light, I didn't have it at all at that time. 0%. I didn't have it, but I had some glimmers of the light. And so when the Lord was like, man, you can help her, I'm like, well, all right. I know maybe I can help with a few things, a few things biblically, and maybe, and that's all I'm like thinking. Like I can help her understand the Bible.
No, it meant a whole more sleepless nights, stressful moments.
More.
Oh boy.
Way more.
Oh boy.
Way more than that.
Way more.
And that's a whole 2 hours of a story.
Yeah.
That. But the point is this: is that so yeah, we're at this meeting. We didn't ate lunch, and what's funny, there's a picture. I don't think we still have access to it.
I don't know. I think
because both of our Facebooks got hacked and destroyed last year or a year before now.
Yeah.
So I don't even know, but there was a picture that encapsulated. No, I
still have it.
You still have the picture?
Yes, I can put it.
Maybe you can put it on.
Yes, I will.
There's a picture that encapsulated it. There's a picture where like we're there and like we're taking pictures, and there was a guy sitting next to her, and they took a picture, and she, kind of leaned in, did all this little,
big,
so, and now it was time for her and I to take a picture. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's the kind of party it is, huh? So I lean in, and in the picture, I'm leaning like this with this big cheesy, and she like this.
No, I was like this, like like get away.
You can see it in the photo, man. Like it's fully there,
I do
man.
Have it, yeah.
It was there, but even in spite of that, we started to converse, and I'm listening, and I'm like, okay, all right. And another thing I liked about her is that she wore long dresses and skirts. Well, at least that day she had a long dress on.
Yeah.
And I assume that's how she dressed. Mostly, which was the truth. That's how she did dress, and I was appealed to that because I had and still have certain values about presenting ourselves in public, and she was abiding by that. So I was very appealed to that. And anyways, so we talked.
Yeah, we talked.
We talked for a minute.
We talked too long because we were supposed to get back into the meeting, but we were out there talking for some time.
Yeah, we were out there talking for a minute.
Yeah.
And then from there, we talked, and we just kind of ended the conversation. It was time to go back in the meeting or whatever. So we finally went back into the meeting, and I think we stayed. Me and my friend stayed there for a few more hours while the meetings were going on, and then it was time for him and I to go. We were about to go, and when that happened, when it was time for us to go, I was just like, I didn't know how to Christian holla. I didn't know how to do that. Like I only knew how to holla from, look, bro, like you ask for the number, you be like, hey, what's up? Can I get your number? Whatever. But I didn't know how to do that in a Christian context.
Yeah.
I like, do I come like that? Or so what I did was I said, hey, you can email me. I gave her like my email.
Not your email, the church email.
Yeah. We had a business card, and on the business card, my name was on the business card for the ministry that I was working with at the time. And it had my email and that alone on it. And I gave her that. And I think that was another like sore spot for you.
I know. I threw that in the trash. I didn't care about it.
She threw it in the trash.
Trash, literally. I was
why
like,
you throw it in the trash?
Because I didn't want. I was fighting with the reality of wanting you, but don't want you. So I was like, good. He didn't give me my number. His number, good. Just forget about it.
Okay.
And if I had it, I would maybe look it up and stuff. So I didn't want it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, man, I left there, but I left there with a couple of issues. Well, one major issue. There was one major issue.
Yeah.
I'm talking to this young lady.
Young lady.
And it got to a point where I'm looking at her, I'm like, this girl look young than a mug, man. And I'm like,
my birthday was the next month.
So I just had to ask her. I'm like, how old are you? Because I'm like, that was another thing. I never age gap dated at all.
I
You know,
know.
and when it was everybody was within a year of my age.
Yeah.
Every time, bro. Maybe the biggest gap was like 2.5 years. Like, but I dealt with folk that was like, you know, from my generation. That's what I
Yeah.
dealt with, man. And so I'm talking to this girl. I'm seeing some type of like like connection, and but
Yeah.
I'm like, but I know this girl young, man. I know she young. So I just had to ask her, I'm like, how old are you? And she was like, I'm 21. Now, true enough, her birthday was going to be next month. She was going to be 22. But brother, I had just turned 31 at that just a few months before that. So there was all I'm seeing is 10-year gap, and I'm like, oh nah, bro, this can't work. So we leave the meeting, and I'm like, man, I need to get that out of my mind, bro, because I ain't going that route. But man, I don't know. She'll put some kind of something on me, man, because I don't know if it
Shortly after.
was it that night or it was
Nah,
the next day.
nah,
I
next
think
day
it
or
was the next
something.
day. Yeah, it was the
Or
next
even,
day.
yeah, it was shortly after. I think I was already at my destination, and then he did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the next day. I think I did it when I got back to the house because
Yeah.
we got back the next day. Anyways, the next day, I remembered her first name because her first name is very unique, and it's a Spanish first name.
Yeah.
And I ain't never heard that. I had never heard the name at that point. Her full name,
Yeah.
Magdalena. Well, that's not how you say it with a nice Spanish accent. It sounds so much better when somebody with a Spanish accent says it
Oh,
than when a
man.
brother like me say it. But I remember that was her first name, her full first name.
Yeah.
I didn't really remember her last name. I don't think I even got the last name.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe I don't know. I just know
Yeah.
I remembered her first name, and I'm just like, look, man, I was just like intrigued, you know.
You know something about that? Like real close in that time, they were impressing me to change my name because my name is Maggie on Facebook. Change it to Magdalena and go by Magdalena now. And I was like, I did not like that. I was like, oh, I don't like my name. So I was like going by Magdalena, and I didn't like it, but I was forcing myself to keep trying to say my name is Magdalena instead of Maggie, and I changed my Facebook name to Magdalena just to like close in that time. And I was really I didn't like that, but I was like, okay, I'll do it. But it's so funny
Yeah,
because I would have had Maggie and you would not
I
find
would
me.
not have found it.
But I was like,
So
okay.
all I typed in Magdalene. I didn't really know how to
Yeah.
spell it, but I just sounded it out, and I
Yeah.
spelled it how it sounds.
Yes.
And she was the first person that came up on Facebook.
Yeah.
I just typed in that. She was the first person that came up. And you look, and now that I know how Facebook works, man, all that tracking, all that stuff, bro. But anyways, it connected that was the one I wanted.
And we had no mutual friends.
Yeah, we had no mutual friends or
No.
anything at the time. And yeah, she was the first person that came up. First person. Clicked on it, and yeah, friended her, and I think I sent her a little message. You know how
Yes, you
folk do
did.
nowadays,
You sent
man.
me like a
You know?
Spirit of Prophecy quote.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh,
You
mercy.
were like so churchy. I was like, okay, that's good. You
Hey,
said
man.
hi,
Yeah.
but you were like, but you sent me like quotes, and you didn't really like talk at first. We just kind of like very
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
some kind of Bible verse or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I
no.
ain't know how to holler,
I know
man.
you like
I ain't know what to
real.
do, man.
I know it was nice though. I was like, okay, and then I sent you the picture when the picture that we took.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
here's a picture, and that was like it.
Yeah. And but that, Saints, is only the beginning, man.
I know.
So there's much more.
So much more.
There's so much more.
So
much
more.
so much more to the story. Even
Yes.
the after this part, and then the leading up to getting married, and then after getting married. I mean, there is a whole lot that could be said, but yeah, that's our brief story of how we met.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That
Man.
was fun. Yeah.
No problem.
That's I don't know. Should we do a part 2?
Look, I need at least, for me, like I need at least 15 yeses.
15?
Yes, I'm trying to make it where it don't happen. Maybe.
Okay, I know.
I need at
Let's
least
do
15. If I get 15,
yes,
then man, we'll tell you more.
Okay,
because there's much more. There's much more, and some of it is good,
and a lot of it is bad.
is forget bad. It's
terrible.
It's
terrible. So yes, if you want to hear a little bit of the terrible,
yeah,
15. Okay, Thank you, Lord. I hope that we won't have to do that. We'll just end
Yeah.
here. But anyway, thank you so much, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah, so see you guys in my next podcast. Bye bye.